The following program is the work of broadcast students from the British Columbia Institute of Technology. BCIT magazine features news stories from around the Lower Mainland which were produced over the past week. Responsibility for the content of the show rests completely with the students and their instructors.
Today on BCIT magazine, BC Premier Christy Clark announces that BCIT trades will get a boost in funding. ICBC workers make their voices heard in a one-day strike. And the Granville Island shore cleanup gets underway. Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Matt Lowe.
And I'm Lynn Johnson. BCIT's trades program will be getting a boost after Premier Christy Clark announced a new jobs plan to improve trades in BC. As my co-anchor Matt Lowe found out, trades play a big role in BC's economic growth.
We need your skills. We need your talents. British Columbians, it's time to come home and get to work.
Strengthening trades and technical programs was the main focus of Premier Christy Clark's press conference at BCIT's Aerospace campus in Richmond. Clark's new jobs plan focuses on promoting trades programs to young adults.
Because I think that there has been, generationally, a sense among some parents that perhaps the trades aren't something they'd like to have their kids get into.
Main points of the plan include diverting more funds to improve post-secondary facilities and equipment and shortening certification times. In particular, Clark was sure to praise BCIT's aerospace program.
You look behind me and you'll see people that are training to look after aircrafts. And of course, we want to know that they are getting the best possible training we can offer. And that's what BCIT is doing right here.
Dave Clark, student chair of the aerospace technology program at BCIT, has some advice for students interested in trades.
My recommendation would be to ask around. Go talk to some of the businesses, talk to somebody who's in that industry and get their feedback so you know what is a day in the life of an AME going to be like.
Clark is optimistic for trades in BC.
We can stand up and tell the world that Canada does start right here at places like BCIT. Thank you.
With the new plan, BC's trades should be able to take flight. Matthew Lowe in Richmond for BCIT Magazine.
The Premier was also asked about her comments that the seat of government in Victoria is a sick culture. In an interview last spring, she also said there are no real people in Victoria. Clark would not apologize for her remarks. She also reiterated there would be no false sitting of the legislature.
Commuters learned that the Evergreen Line project will proceed, but over 300,000 bus hours will not be added. TransLink blamed lower than expected revenue for these changes. Our reporter Angela Jung has the details.
As ridership continues to increase in the Lower Mainland, users require more and more TransLink services. In fact, more than 232 million commuters relied on this transportation system last year. But TransLink openly laid out in their 3-year plan that they can't afford to meet each demand.
We had hoped to be able to deliver more. We're just not going to be able to do that at this time till we find more funding sources.
These are the key areas that put them in the red. Loss of real estate revenue, declining fuel tax revenue, loss of fare revenue, and other losses. In total, they are short $472 million. Bus services are seeing the biggest cut. They need over 300,000 more hours of service in order to catch up to the growing number of commuters. But much is also affected. Further cuts include reduced Highway 1 rapid bus service, no B-line to White Rock Centre, no Lonsdale Quay upgrade, no additional C-bus service, and reduced funding for major road network and cycling upgrades.
You will see less service on some of the routes. There's no question of that.
But the opposition's transportation critic says they're relying too heavily on property tax revenue.
Mayors have made it very clear in their previous meeting that that money is not available to TransLink. So if that money is not available, you could actually see a drastic cuts in services.
since TransLink is short $472 million. Some of their proposed improvement projects will not take place, and this has some commuters worried about their already crowded services.
It gets pretty packed up because people are waiting for that bus. So if they're going to cut more services, then it's going to be even more packed, and then lots of people are going to be late to like work or school.
We pay a lot of taxes to the government, so I think that tax should be like spent on, things like this, like buses, transit, so people can have easier lives.
The public will have until November 1st to weigh in on the plan before it's finalized for approval. Angela Jung in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
And for more on TransLink's 3-year plan, we go to Angela Jung. Angela, are there plans in place to reduce bus service for BCIT students?
Rob Haddon repeatedly said that they can't find the funding, they're going to have to cut service. This means students may have to leave their homes earlier to catch the bus, and if they require night service, they're just going to have to wait a little bit longer.
Thank you, Angela. And still on the topic of TransLink, the new UPass program, which was created in 2011, was designed to help BC's college students save on transit fares. But some BCIT students say the mandatory pass should be optional because of a lack of service and the high cost of tuition. Kaylee Miller has more on this story.
Long lineups like this one are common at many college bus stops throughout the Lower Mainland. All of these BCIT students have something in common, a U-Pass, which is a mandatory transit pass included in all BC college tuition.
A U-Pass is a pass system that's issued in conjunction with TransLink that allows students to save money on their TransLink fares. To save money has to have all of the students at a particular institute in or out in order to make the savings make sense for TransLink.
Some feel the pass should be optional. While it's only $30 a month, many students think that money could be used towards paying for school costs.
Tuition can get pretty high and it's pretty tough to work, so it would be good to have it as an option in case I don't need to use it as much.
Well, I do ride my bike because it does save emissions. The trans is very helpful in that too because it just keeps another car off the road and it saves me having to pay for insurance and the cost of gas.
Every day, hundreds of BCIT students line up at these bus stops behind me and wait hours to catch the next bus ride home. Some college students have expressed that the UPass program isn't living up to their expectations and that the UPass committee should work closer with TransLink to provide better service for students.
In past, BCIT Student Association has held a referendum, so really it's the students who end up deciding whether or not BCIT is in the UPass or BCIT is outside of the UPass.
For now, the UPass committee is currently in negotiations with TransLink for a new UPass contract in 2013. Kaylee Miller in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
After the break, Christine Zapasaki will join us to talk about BCIT's upcoming Farmers and Artisans Market. And also just ahead, the NHL lockout has Vancouver businesses seeing red.
And NDP leader Adrian Dix answers the tough questions.